Jessica, that was a really cool conversation, my friend. I
Thank
mean,
you.
you have some neat things that you're teaching people practically that you can hold on to. I picked up on two just in the conversation alone. I loved it.
Thank you. It's so important for people to realize like social conditioning is the expectation created to maintain the status quo. But if we ever want to change what the status quo looks like for yourself or for others or for the world, then you just need to change to be who you are. You need to stop putting on masks and stop with the facade and just be you. There were times in my career where that's bit me in the ass, just to be quite frank, like having pink
Yeah,
hair or having the tattoos or whatever else. And other people didn't deem me as professional. And I'm like, if those things tell you that I'm not professional, you don't know me enough to make a judgment.
right.
So at that point, I'm okay with being judged that way now because
hmm
I recognize that's not a space I'm supposed to be in then.
Isn't that amazing when you start to realize like we're life's growing into us in
Hmm.
this scenario? And I think, mine was always built around this idea that I was going to sound stupid in front of people because I
Same.
flubbed a word or whatever I did. And the truth was, I never was. It was just a conditioning that I had allowed in my mind to be a part of that. And you're so right. If you can work on what you're saying to yourself inside first, the rest of it starts to bleed on the outside. And you start to realize like you're attracting this energy just as a natural status of being who you are, where you are. And you don't have to say anything the right way. It's already the right way. It's like the rings in a tree. And if you can start to allow that to be, yeah, there's going to be some uncomfortable bumps in the road. Like I used to go into a social setting and try and be Prince Charming to everybody. Oh, I love your purse. Hey, what a great jacket. Hey, man, your hair looks good. That is so fake. People read right through it and you build no relationships. They just see this person flying through the room like a wild man saying things to people, but you're not really connecting. And I realized like I come off very stoic, like danger, danger. I'm not sure why, but it's just the way it is. And I need to give people more time to get to know me, but I don't hold them accountable anymore for that. I realize like this is your personality. And so you're going to have to structure a way for people to get to know you and take responsibility for that. And once I realized like I didn't have to be this other way so that they felt comfortable around me, everything started connecting. And it was really like this amazing place in my life, like, oh, I can be myself. They get it. Like this is this guy.
So I'm a firm believer, Dean, in energy, right? And I firmly believe that different people operate on different wavelengths. I mean, we've shown that through science already, so we know that that's the case. As I've kind of taken a step back and stopped being so judgmental about what is and what isn't in life, I
hmm
have been able to embrace more of that energy inside myself. And I know how it comes off to some people. A good friend that, or becoming a new good friend that was a speaker recently that I met told me it's like I'm bouncing in my shoes. And I'm like, that's exactly it. That's exactly the energy that I have. But I've realized that with that energy, that I have an obligation to those that don't have it to help them find it. So, for example, good friend of mine was a previous associate of mine like 8 years ago. So it's been a long time since this person's worked for me. But I remember telling her, like, you are doing amazing. This is all so good. Like, you are undercutting yourself in that. Why are we having a conversation about going back into work like that when that's not what your skill set is? And, you
hmm
know, giving them that moment to say, like, there is a light in you. Just those words to somebody can transform their entire life. And
It
it's so
does.
impactful. So you mentioned like the compliments and stuff. I am someone that will do that, but it's genuine. And you know it's genuine because you
Right.
can tell from me that I'm like, that bag is fire, girl, and I want it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and so
And
there's
that's
there's those
that's
moments of
great as long as
connection.
it's not a
Yeah,
shtick. Yeah. And you be
exactly. That's the thing.
it's hard though because you like I was having a conversation with somebody earlier about when I was in my 8 to 10 job, my corporate life. I didn't know any other strategies and I was a
For
strategist.
sure.
So I was shown one strategy. It's to do it this way. And it was only by, the idea of natural growth because you're replicating people in front of you. And we came out of this management structure style and we're heading into another idea of how humans are connecting. And that's what you and I are really talking about in the middle is becoming self-aware that you're still being conditioned all the time. And that for us to have check-ins with ourselves to realize like how are we falling into this equation? I like to say I live in my life daily as the experiencer. But there's times I fall into the experience and I know like, hey, I'm getting angry. I don't know why, but I'm getting angry. Oh, I'm in the experience. I'm actually playing in the game now. I'm not observing or controlling the game that I'm in. And I had a great suggestion from a healer gave to me once, like if you're having problems with people around you for some reason, it's a mirror of yourself. When you look at them, see yourself in them and you'll realize like this is an action that you've done in your life and that's why it irritates you. And that essentially set me on a whole new path of discovery because I realized like I don't not like this person. I'm just seeing parts of myself in them, like my kids. It happened all the time with my son. I would see parts of myself in him and I would get irritated. Well, now I realize this interaction that's going on, I'm able to associate myself to it differently and not hold him accountable for this ideal, but separate those two things and realize like this is your pain echo. This is your way of looking at life. You can now be a subject of inspiration if you're able to shine a light in a different way. And my sons learn from me that way rather than having to hack all these things up in a big long conversation and put them back
Yeah.
together, which don't help anybody.
You know what's funny? So, kind of similar to what you said. Like, I even in my speech, I call myself a devil's advocate to a fault because I can see both sides to every story and every situation because I'm able to pull myself out and be like, okay, that's not factual enough for me. Let me understand. And then because I've been, they say you become a different person like 7 times in your life. I think I've done that like 40 already. So I'm
Interesting.
far beyond that. And like every time I step into a new me, it's like, okay, how am I giving that energy away? How am I giving that to people that need it? And like perfect example that has nothing to do with leadership. My daughter's teacher mentioned that they're working on a craft that required some like toilet paper rolls, all that good stuff, right? Glue sticks, duct tape, Dixie cups, and whatnot. And she said, if you have these lying around the house, you can donate them. And I didn't have anything lying around the house. I throw everything away. I'm not a hoarder, but I went and bought those things and I spent like $65, which isn't a lot, but it is when you're on a mini retirement.
It
And I
is.
sent it in and she messaged me and she's like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Like the whole class can do everything now. And it was $65, but it was, to me, it was, I don't care. This is for the education of these children. My child is a part of this,
Yeah.
and teachers don't make enough and they don't get reimbursed for personal expenses.
Uh,
So I'm like, this is a moment when I have the means to change the energy of this situation. I
yeah.
can make sure these children all get an opportunity to participate. And like with the PTO, I'm vice president of communications there. And so I'm always thinking of how can we bring our families into what's happening at school so that we can be better parents, we can be better friends to each other, we can be better citizens of our community.
So
And
true.
yeah, that energy is just, it's infectious. And I love the situations when I'm able to give it to somebody and I see it go boom in them. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, a whole different person. And it's
Yeah.
just so
Well, that's why
awesome.
I knew you'd be
And
perfect for
it's
this
great.
podcast because I saw it in you the first time we talked. And
Thank
that's
you.
really what the whole theme of the conversation is. Like there's an energy in us that connects us. And
Absolutely.
we're exploring how that works around us. And it's not a matter of using words, it's a matter of giving into this. And I don't have all the definitions or structures. I don't think anybody ever
Neither.
will. I think
No,
it's really just instead of looking down and trying to describe all these things, look up and realize like that's where we come from. And if we could just
absolutely.
understand we're part of this game, we're just the pinky connected to the hand, connected to the arm, connected to the body. Be the pinky. Stop trying to be the other
Absolutely.
fingers. Leave them alone. They all have their
For
jobs to
sure.
do too. And just realize we're connected to this universal source. And once we release into that, we really can enjoy these challenges that we talked about. That's why you and I are having so much fun with the conversations because we realize, like, hey, this is the place we're supposed to be in. And I used to see myself as like this guy that would open the rope on the bridge when you touch that light in their heart and say, all right, there you go, walk that way. It's really cool. And I had this friend once tell me, no, don't joke yourself, man. You're like the Harley guy that shows up on the corner and goes, run, run. You want to get on the back? It's going to be fun. Start looking at that
That's my
light.
dad.
Enjoy that bad boy. It's a good life. There's no reason to live the other way. I appreciate
We don't
talking to you,
know when
friend.
our last day is. Yeah. So
We
we've got to live
don't.
it like we can.
And I'm glad we did today. I look forward to catching up with
Awesome.
you next year and seeing how the practice is going.
For sure. We'll stay connected. Thanks,
All
Dean.
right.